channel. Today is part 3 of a 5-part video series in which I pick 5 books to read from 2021. So what I've done is picked 50 books and put them in the order of their publication dates, divided them into groups of 5, meaning there are 10 books in each group, and I go through each one, tell you a brief synopsis of each, and at the end of each video I pick one to read. So let's get right into it because there are some great titles in this one. Option 1 is going to be Till We Become Monsters by Amanda Headlee. So in this story, a 7-year-old boy named Corin believes that monsters are real because his grandmother told him so. And his older brother, Davis, is a monster to him. And after the grandmother dies, Corin tries to kill Davis. So 16 years pass and Corin is racked with guilt and finally realizes that his brother is not a monster, but he may in fact be one himself. So in order to make up for things, he agrees to go on a hunting trip with his older brother, their father, and 2 friends. But they never make it to their destination. An accident along the way separates them, and as they are trying to find each other before this big blizzard hits, an ancient evil awakens and threatens to destroy them all. Option 2 is going to be 14 Ways to Die by Vincent. 10 years ago, Jess's mother was the first victim of a serial killer called the Magpie Man. She was the first, but not the last. Now Jess is the star of a YouTube reality series, and she's going to use that in order to catch the Magpie Man. So as the whole world is watching, so is he. And she has a plan, but will she be able to pull it off? So I did see this one in Target one day a few months ago, and I read like the first little bit of it. The chapters are super duper short. I guess it's because it's supposed to be a social media story, you know, since she's a YouTube reality star. It would be a really quick read. It's a young adult thriller. I think it would be super interesting. Option 3 is going to be one that was on everyone's list, and of course it had mixed opinions about it. That's going to be Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke by LaRocca. So in this story, it is set in the early 2000s in an online chat room between 2 women who I think one is wanting to buy an apple peeler from the other one, and they start to develop a kind of relationship that turns dark quickly. That is all I know about this one. It's super short, I think, and I could jump on the bandwagon with this one. We'll see. Option 4 is going to be Shutter by Melissa Larsen. So in this story, Betty's father dies and it really messes her up to the point which she pushes her mother away, she breaks up with her boyfriend, and she decides to move to New York City to start over, start a new life for herself, try to find herself. She doesn't know exactly what she wants, but she knows it's not in her hometown. When she's offered a chance to play a leading role in an indie filmmaker's new project, she jumps at the chance. She's going to be staying on an island offshore at a cabin with 5 cast and crew members, and the filmmaker Anthony is going to give her a new name. She's going to be known as Lola. So Betty is all for this. She is excited about a new identity. She's excited to be in this new movie, even though she doesn't know exactly what it's about, but it's an opportunity for her to completely change herself. But things are not exactly going according to plan. I've not heard anyone talking about this story, which is kind of unbelievable. I mean, does nobody know about this one? I don't know. But as soon as I found out about it, I was very intrigued, so this should be a high contender. Option 5 is going to be one that is high on my list, and that is going to be Bathhouse by P.J. Vernon. So in this story, a young recovering addict named Oliver has finally gained the life he's always wanted. He is sober, he has a loving partner, Sure, there's an age difference, but his partner is a well-renowned surgeon, and his life could not be any better. But as typical as it is, this guy decides that he needs a little something something on the side, and he's going to go to this gay bathhouse. And whatever happens there, his boyfriend Nathan can never find out. So he goes there, and he follows this guy into a private room, ready to get it on. But something awful happens in that room, and he hightails it out of there with bruises on his neck. So he has to do what he does best and lie his way out of how the bruises got there, what actually happened, and some high stakes are involved in this thriller that I cannot wait to read. Option 6 is going to be Falling by T.J. Newman. You just boarded a flight to New York. There are 143 other passengers on board. What you don't know is that 30 minutes before the flight, your pilot's family was kidnapped. For his family to survive, everyone on board must die. Flying is super scary to me. Full disclosure, I have never flown. It is my biggest fear, and so this one may be traumatizing, but I would love to read it. Option 7 is one that was on everyone's list. It just won the Goodreads Best Horror Book Award, and that's going to be The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. So everyone knows what a final girl is. They are the ones to survive horror movies. So in this story, a group of actual final girls who have all survived their own traumatic experiences have been meeting for quite some time. There's like 5 or 6 of them, and they meet once a week or once a month or something like that. And they are there to help each other get past the trauma of what they experienced. But when one of them goes missing, Lynette knows that someone else knows about their secret group, and they are going to be in a fight for their lives. So which of the final girls is going to be the ultimate final girl? Ever since I found out about this book, it has been high on my list to read, so we'll see. Option 8 is going to be The Taking of Jake Livingston by Ryan Douglas. So in this story, Jake Livingston is one of the only black kids at St. Clair Prep. And what makes him so different is he can actually see the dead. Now, most of the ghosts are harmless. They are basically stuck in their death cycles or whatever. But he runs across one named Sawyer, who not too long ago killed 6 students at a high school before taking his own life. But Sawyer has plans for his afterlife, and that includes Jake. So Sawyer begins haunting Jake, and soon dead bodies are piling up around him. So how is Jake going to get out of this? Don't know. Option 9 is going to be Come With Me by Ronald Malfi. It's about a guy who recently lost his wife. She died, and he, of course, is grief-stricken. And as one does when a loved one passes away, you have to go through their belongings and get rid of things, keep things that are sentimental. But in this case, our main character, Erin, finds a receipt for like a motel that his wife had, which is very odd. And so he, of course, has to follow up and see what this was all about. What was she doing in her last weeks before her death? But Erin is unprepared to discover all these dark secrets that Allison kept. She apparently had been living this double life, and the deeper he goes, the more in danger his own life becomes. Our 10th and final option for this video is going to be Small Favors by Erin A. Craig. So in this story, a girl named Ellery lives in a small town in the mountains where they hardly get any visitors. And apparently back in the day, some townsfolk defeated some kind of monsters or devils that were in the woods, and for years everything has been a-okay. But one day a supply party goes missing, and townfolk begin to believe that the monsters have returned. As fall turns to winter, more strange activities plague the town. They point to a tribe of devilish and mystical creatures who promises to grant the townsfolk wishes if they were to do small favors for them. So this kind of sounds like Needful Things by Stephen King in a way. Even though I've never read it, I did watch the movie. You know, you do something in order to get something, and it's always seemingly harmless in the beginning, but it leads to chaos and destruction rather quickly. Okay, so those are the 10 options for this video. They all sound super duper good and horrifying and thrilling, and I really wish I could read them all. I'm hoping it's not going to be as difficult to pick one as it was in part 2, but I have a feeling it's going to come down to like 3 or 4. So I'm basically going to do what I did in the last video, and to make it easier and cut down some options rather quickly, I'm going to pit 2 against each other, pick one, and that will eliminate half of these options. So let's start with Till We Become Monsters versus 14 Ways to Die. I would really be more into Till We Become Monsters. Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke, or Shudder. I would really like to know what happens in Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke, but I would much rather read Shudder. Bathhouse versus Falling. Bathhouse. The Final Girl Support Group versus The Taking of Jake Livingston. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with The Final Girls Support Group. Come With Me, Small Favors. I could go either way with this one, but I think I'm gonna go with Come With Me. Okay, so we have Till We Become Monsters, Shudder, The Final Girls Support Group, Bathhouse, and Come With Me. They all sound really, really good. I think my top 3 would be Bathhouse, Shudder, and The Final Girls Support Group. 3 very different stories. 3 I would probably really enjoy. I'm gonna go with The Final Girl Support Group. How could I not? I love slasher movies. They are my favorite horror subgenre. And I mean, it just won the best book of 2021 in the horror category. So how could I not go with The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix? Okay, so that's it. Part 3 is in the books. So part 4 will come at some point in January, and part 5 will probably happen in February. And I'm sorry this is going to take that long to pick 5 books to read, but and I have other videos, other things I have to film, so we're going to stretch it out as long as possible, I guess. Let me know what you thought of these books. Did you play along? Which book would you have picked? Have you read any of these? Have you read The Final Girl Support Group? Let me know, please, in the comments what you thought about any of these. I really wanted to pick Bathhouse, but I just couldn't pass up The Final Girl Support Group. So I think the next video is just going to be a short little thing to kind of let you know what's happening for the Boom books in 2022. So it's just going to be a short little casual video, and we'll see what's up. So come back and check that one out. Definitely come back next month when we do part 4 of this series. So come back and see me next time, and until then, keep turning those pages. Bye.